everybody lost their mind because I won the Journalist of the Year award yesterday while I was streaming. People were like going, "Oh, Richard can't win it because he's on a stream." But obviously, I didn't go to Vegas because I'm in the process of moving house and everything else. So anyway, I was sort of sat here. It happened while I was live on stream. So I put a little Substack article out just saying thanks to all of you guys, all the community and whatnot, all the people who've like essentially financially supported me as I transition into being independent, because now more than ever, if you want to write about Saudi Arabia, you're probably not going to get to do that at certain publications. So anyway, I knew what was coming, obviously. When I win awards, people don't like it. They don't like that I'm recognised for my work because, remember, I'm an irredeemable piece of shit. I have no positive qualities whatsoever. I'm just an asshole who every opinion I've ever had is wrong, but all of my articles are the absolute gospel truth, and yet somehow the gospel truth never informs my opinions. My opinions are always wrong and bad, and I know nothing about the industry, and I argue with people on Twitter, and when I'm not arguing, I'm blocking them, so I'm a piece of shit and I deserve to be killed. So, obviously, when I win an award, you can imagine the type of stuff that comes out. Also heard a rumour I might be a fucking clown as well. But anyway, so when it was announced, there was, the usual fucking brouhaha. So I thought we'd go through that today because I thought it would be fun for everybody. I'm going to start with some of the tweets because obviously I've upset a lot of communities along the way. That's just par for the course. I don't know if you remember, there was like a while ago, I got hired to do a Rocket League event. And it was with G2. Obviously, Carlos was the CEO back then. And he hit me up and he said, do you want to, because they don't like you in Rocket League, it'd be fun if you came and worked a Rocket League event in G2, play a bit of the heel, you'll work with, Orb, and, you know him, it'll be a lot of fun. I said, yeah, okay, well, let's do it for 1 week and see how it goes. And so as soon as I was announced, basically the Rocket League guys were all up in my shit because prior to that, I'd had an argument with, I always forget his name, is it Lethemir? Some fucking moron, I can't remember. There was two morons, Lethemir I think was one of them. Basically they were arguing over like conflict of interest and saying it's not a conflict of interest when someone in a managerial position is fucking a subordinate. Apparently that's not a conflict of interest. And yeah, Leafex was the main guy. And Leafex said that because he'd worked as a manager at a McDonald's or something and he'd fucked somebody who worked for him while he was doing that, that meant conflict of interest, and it never informed his working decisions. He is conflict of interest isn't real, essentially. So I just told him, like, sit this one out, you're a fucking moron, because he is. And when he wouldn't sit it out and kept going, why can't we have a conversation? I just blocked him because, again, you have to be psychotic. You have to be, like, really seriously ill to think somebody owes you a conversation. Like, I don't get it. Like, so I blocked him, and he never shut up about it. Anyway, I got hired after that, and so all the Rocket League people were like, but he blocked Leafex. They made Reddit threads about it. An analysis of whether Richard Lewis should block people on Twitter or not. There was all of this stuff. And so when I got hired, basically, all these 15-year-old troglodytes were sort of, bombarding me with hate. There's a 2-hour video about it you can go and see, where they literally were spamming me so much it broke my Twitter account. It would periodically kick me out of Twitter. I was getting that much abuse via DMs and replies. So anyway, they've not forgotten that. It was just a Wednesday for me, but they've not forgotten it. So in the replies to this tweet, on the esports awards account, you will see some things. So this is I don't know, I think he's like some failed wannabe caster, and he posted this saying classy guy. And what this is me replying at about 4 a.m. or it says 11:36 p.m. I'm guessing that's his time zone, so it might even be like probably about 5 a.m. for me. Somebody was like spamming me. They were spamming like spamming G2 sponsors, saying that I should be fired. And I said, yeah, losers always revert to this. I'm legit in bed scrolling and getting paid to call you a cunt, get me cancelled. Come on, you worthless loser. I'm breaking all the rules you've set. Come hurt my career. Then they obviously deleted all of their tweets because I was like retweeting it onto my timeline. mine, and they said, we're definitely going to get you cancelled. And I said, you can't get me cancelled because you're a fucking nobody, and I can call you a nobody and nobody cares. Now I'm going to block. I bet you can't resist tweeting about it because your life is fucking empty. Which, is pretty much just how you should deal with anyone that attempts to get you cancelled. It's like, good luck with that. Like, I'm the best at what I do in my field, and everyone thinks I'm a man-child and an asshole anyway, irrespective of reality. So what you gonna do now? What? Like, now what? Kind of am the man. Ugh, nightmare. So obviously hasn't really hurt my career at all, but the Rocket League guys were out in force posting that tweet as if that in some way was kind of a gotcha, which I didn't really understand. On that note, they were in the DMs as well, just to prove Rocket League fans aren't incredibly like fucking deranged, because obviously, as I'll tell you, I've dealt with a lot of communities and they all embody some like some negative quality. Like Dota, it's kind of selfishness and entitlement. CS is just delusion. League of Legends is like morons with superiority complexes, and Rocket League's just a bunch of fucking obsessive teenagers with too much time on their hands and not enough education. Basically, they are. It's like being mobbed by a bunch of teenagers as you walk down the street, and that, as an adult, you could fucking give them a clip round the ear and that'd sort of be the end of it. But you don't do that. You marshal your emotions because you're an adult, and you just let them get on with it, essentially. That's Rocket League. They are just a pathetic collection of teenagers that need to spend more time in school and less time on TikTok. But anyway, one of the Rocket League contingents started doing this. He got into my DMs and he sent me a screenshot of that, as if I would be ashamed of that. I haven't deleted that tweet. You'll notice it's not like a gotcha screenshot. It's still there. The person I was replying to has, of course, deleted their tweets subsequently. So this guy, this Mario dude, just got in my DMs. He sent me that. And so, obviously, what I do these days, instead of arguing with people, is I just ask if they're okay. I ask if they're well. So, because obviously to DM somebody something like this, you sort of have to be ill, right? So he did. I said, yeah, I tweeted that. Are you okay? And he sent me another screenshot of it, as if, again, it was a gotcha. He sent me the screenshot of the tweet that he'd already sent me. So I was like, okay, right, well, So we continued. And he said, this is the other one. If you're having a mental health crisis, is there someone you can call? I'm not best positioned to help you. It was in the afternoon, my time. I was working. Whatever helps you sleep. As if I should be having some sort of sleepless night. I had a great one. Poured myself a big glass of scotch, got a solid 8 hours, just sat there all fucking smug, knowing the man-child has done it again. Really good sleep. I sleep fine. Is lack of sleep part of your disorder? I asked him. You should speak to a doctor about that, as I can't really help. So he sent me another screenshot of the tweet, the non-gotcha tweet. And he replied... and he said, just reminding you that every award you win is undeserved and tarnished. So I replied with, a panel of esports experts believe it to be deserved. I don't think tweeting factually accurate statements about mob behaviour tarnishes my award. How's the cancellation going, by the way? Now, in all seriousness, do you want the number for a mental health crisis line? I think you benefit from talking to someone, as this is disturbed behaviour you are engaging in. And he sent me the same tweet, a screenshot of the same tweet again. So I realised to quote Rust Cole from True Detective, I'd encountered a metapsychotic. So what I had to do was I had to do my level best to try and help the metapsychotic find help. So I actually did link him to a series of American mental health crisis health lines, all of which deal with different ones. It's a really good page to memorize. And I said one of those should be able to help you. Please take the time to contact the most appropriate one for your issues. Get well soon. And then he blocked me. So I don't know. Well, Rocket League fans, I don't know. Maybe something about that game does rot people's brains. I don't know. Anyway. So that was in the DMs. I mean, a lot of these comments, to be fair, on Twitter were nice, saying, he deserved it. Some OGs were in there. Now, this is sort of the epicenter of Richard Lewis hate right now, other than just in Overdrive's mind, because, I am a fucking clown after all. But this one is great because it's a Rocket League player who says he's the coach for Saudi Hurricane. So he said, "You got to be joking, right? The guy's hated by most the scene." So, all right. I really am sad that I'm not going to be farming that 15-year-old engagement over in the Rocket League community. Similarly, okay, this guy, nobody like him. Now, that might be true. However, when I looked at that guy's account, couldn't help but notice he actually follows me. Nobody likes him, but I follow him so I can get updates on all of his work and all of the opinions in his brain. Which, again, is just a sort of staggering indicator of mental illness right there, isn't it? So we all know, of course, there was at least one other person on Twitter. Because I'd put a video out on the same day called Maximum Overdrive, which I'm sure a lot of you have seen and a lot of you probably watched the original stream, Overdrive was very upset. And he didn't like that video. Okay, he, in fact, said, "If you want to know how journalism disgrace looks like, check out Richard Clownis' last video about me. What an idiot," right? Now, understand, all I did to upset him this time, other than blocking him on Twitter, was I just pointed out things he'd said. Which is always the best way to just fucking... You did say this, though. But I wanted to get away with saying it. So obviously he said this on the day that I won the awards. And he got wrecked in the replies. He did get wrecked in the replies, to be fair. There's not like a single positive reply that agrees with him. Like, for example, he almost wrote you an apology because he thought he was beefing with someone with learning difficulties. Clearly, he should have hit send. So anyway, obviously, I think he did have one one guy that got into it. Yeah, here it is. Because I love it when I love when the insults are in broken English. It's just too good. This is from someone called Gus Zera. And he said, "Richard Lewis is the masterpiece of the shit." Richard Lewis is the masterpiece of the shit in the CS scenery, bro. Don't give the stations he wants. The best answer is silence. I am the masterpiece of the shit. Oh, it's brilliant, isn't it? But that was the only guy that sort of agreed with him. Everyone else was just wrecking him. And then, obviously, hilariously, on the same day that Overdrive was sort of saying, I'm not a journalist, I'm a clown. In fact, actually, we can listen to that in real time.
Richard Lewis is a fucking clown.
Thanks, Overdrive. That's what he said about me. So anyway, then I won the award. And so he got mega upset about that. And he posted, "And the winner of the Best CS2 Player of the Year award is Overdrive," trying to make a joke, implying that the award is illegitimate in some way. So all the replies to that were bad as well. Loads of people just saying to him, "This is so pathetic. Take the L and shut the fuck up. You're delusional. Still mad." There's the classic smiley face over the crying face. Wojak. So I don't know. He's got some stuff he's going to have to work through over the next few days, it looks like. But probably going to leave him alone now because holding all these W's in front of him is really going to fucking break him eventually. So obviously we have to go to Reddit, where once again I was the most talked about thing on the subreddit. I don't know how it keeps happening. All these roster moves, there's tournaments underway. What's Richard Lewis getting up to? So There were some really good memes on the subreddit. So somebody went and did the Esports Banks of the Year award, which has James Banks, J. Ames Banks, Jarmes Banks, James's Banks, Central Banks, James Bash Their Heads in Banks, James Banks, question mark, Jam, Ease Banks, and Banks, right? So I sent this as a joke to the Esports Awards panel, saying this is the only award that matters for me this year. And they thought there'd been an error on the website. And I'm going, which page was this on? I'm going, mate, it's off my Discord, for fuck's sake. Like, you haven't accidentally put out the fucking Banks of the Year award. Like, so, right. Let's get to Reddit. It's just classic stuff. Thought this was funny. Incredibly well deserved. Lots of great stories this year. And someone replied, and I just feel so sorry for this person because you're like 5 years, if that, too late. The most important thing is you can be sure after he will get this reward and go for the speech, he will stand for us, all those players remembering who he is, and he will give a speech about this game, how community love it, and how it is important to make changes. Mark my words right now. And of course, obviously, my stance right now on the whole of Counter-Strike is fuck every single one of you with this game installed. I hope it remains shit forever. I hope you're miserable. I hope you stop playing. I hope you leave me alone. You don't deserve anything at all. You've treated me like dog shit for 2 decades, and I've had enough. So that would have been the speech if I even could be asked to make it, but whatever, I didn't even go. This is JK Sex, someone that obviously is a JK sexual, obviously a G2 fan, clearly ill. Yeah, him complaining about the Paris Major, that the stickers weren't as classy as before, and the map pool being bad has really added to the scene. So I guess that's all the work I did this year. Richard Lewis's written word is the gold standard for esports journalism. You go, oh, okay, this starts off good. This guy will be a fan. When he puts pen to paper or finger to keyboard, to be more accurate, produces brilliantly written and well-researched articles. What he writes is filled to the brim with integrity and honesty. Oh, okay, thanks. Thanks, Ricky Diesel. His personality-driven content is a fucking shit show. If everyone you bump into on Twitter, Reddit, and Twitch is an asshole, maybe it's time to look in the mirror. No, maybe it's time to look at how social media has turned anonymous people into assholes. I don't know, maybe it's that. I'm not the anonymous person. You know my name. You know my face. I don't know who the fuck you are, Ricky Diesel. It's almost as if being anonymous encourages people to be cunts. So if we know that to be true, why would it be me? Interesting, isn't it? Oh, no, we're doing that thing where the plebs make the rules, not the actual people. Okay, right, cool. There was a mention of Thorin up there, obviously. Exactly. This is from Rudy Oft. You'll often see him in threads about me. Exactly. Everything around esports, and even vaguely when esports and politics cross, he is a gold mine. Occasional strangeness, like the extreme overreaction to clicks. Remember, the extreme overreaction to 3 Clicks Philip, which of course gets referenced here, was I made a joke on a podcast that sent him into a cycle of self-reflection and then constant attacks towards me and Duncan. Because he pretends he's a nice guy, but obviously he's got such a frothing ego. He couldn't cope that somebody would make a joke at his expense, even if it was a really like complimentary joke, almost like saying nobody is as nice as 3 Clicks Philip. What did he do in the aftermath? He made 3 videos about me. He made references to my mother. He leaked private emails I'd sent him and then retitled his 3rd video something like Richard Lewis is an arsehole who everywhere he goes he creates drama. Like, I don't know, guys. Maybe I wasn't the frothing maniac in this, but you know, I even went through a period of just not referencing him, not talking about him, ignoring every time it was brought up, thinking it would go away. But no, this is now going to be on the tree of lies about Richard Lewis, right up there with the fucking Loader incident, the Babam incident, the driving a Redditor to suicide narrative, and all the other fucking bullshit that gets told about me. So whatever, well, you know, guess what? I know now, on a long enough time scale, people do start to correct the record every time the lie comes up. Hell in a Cell has become an absolute mockery compared to the original version, and no doubt it will here. But what's interesting about that is, as people develop mentally and they look at the two things that actually happened, one, me making a harmful joke that he then deceptively edited to try and rile people up. And then he had a total breakdown about it and tweeted pictures of flowers with like my head on it and stuff. It's full mental illness, you know. Me, on the other hand, I've just got on with it, you know. Got on with it. Stopped doing the podcast because I couldn't be arsed dealing with 1,000 3-clicks Philip nutters every fucking episode. So anyway, yeah, that's my bad, I guess. I'm the real villain in that one. And then he even said, where esports and politics cross, I'm a goldmine, but everything else, especially politics, no thank you. As if my political takes are so disagreeable. Somebody then corrected him, saying, you know, Philip edited the clips and did all these videos. And he said, I don't agree with this take. It's not a take. It's just objective fact. But when's that ever entered into a fan's brain? His writing is actually absolutely cringe and full of pathos. He has good sources, but the writing itself is giga bad. I guess, you know, I do want to take literary advice from someone who obsesses about a mediocre player and uses a phrase like giga bad to criticize something. So then we have Schmick, says true, he has a good grip on things such as stories and teenage necks, perpetuating the lie that Loader is the oldest teenager to have ever existed at the age of 27, somehow being so developmentally, you know, behind. He was actually a teenager. JK Sex again. He's the only journalist that keeps it real. He said he'll leave the scene and didn't. I will one day. And then I'll be right. I've literally got that one in the bag. So then we had, seriously, I know his podcast is mostly just him ranting. But for anyone that didn't hear him sound off on the compromised integrity of esports, it's a must-watch. To which this guy, who we're going to focus on a lot here, because this guy's off the fucking reservation. He said he's a real enigma. On his streams, he's into culture war garbage and sometimes even goes to the level of right-wing conspiracy bullshit, like the Hunter Biden shit. Now, what you're going to get a glimpse into here is the typical Redditor. When it comes to their politics, it's like they just regurgitate DNC talking points, which is like really lame. Like, I'm not even an American. I think American politics is absurd, which is the lens through which I cover it. But I am informed about it, and so as we're about to see, he is literally arguing that it is wrong of me to suggest that Joe Biden and Hunter Biden might have engaged in some corruption, what looks suspiciously like a pay-to-play scheme. Like, it's my opinion that that's what happened, based on all the evidence I've seen. Put it this way, if Trump was installing his kid abroad to have high-powered jobs in a country that he had direct foreign policy influence over, I don't really think there would be any, you know, years of looking for evidence, media saying, well, what does it really mean? I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know. You know, we've had texts, you know, about 10% for the big guy, all of this stuff. All of it we are told doesn't count because it's a Democrat in charge. And I talk about that phenomenon all the time. Ever since the Obama years, the difference with a capital D in parentheses, you will always be able to observe in the media this wildly different tone in coverage between when Democrat politicians are at it and Republican politicians are at it. And all I'm asking for is it to be covered fairly, and I will correct the record when media outlets get things wrong and don't cover it fairly. That's it. That's the big right-wing talking point that I engage in. Anyway, this guy, typical Redditor, his Twitter is a mess of him being a perpetual child, dishing out insults and blocking anyone who calls him out or insults him back. Again, the lie being that I start the insults. I sit on Twitter and insult people. No, if you send me an abusive reply, I might send you an abusive one back. More often than not, I just block you. Or now, my new strategy, which has been my strategy for years, is ask people a question to try and short-circuit their brain. And it makes for good content. Somebody points out that the Hunter Biden thing certainly isn't a conspiracy. Then he goes, firstly, he was talking about the Ukraine shit, not the laptop. Secondly, let's not pretend like the real issue was ever the laptop existed. It was everything they claimed about the laptop that was a conspiracy. And to this day, we have yet to see any proof of. Even J.K. Sex wades in and points out that Hunter Biden is a mess and got paid to do dodgy shit. And he said, doesn't that make you feel weird? And he goes, yes, it does. But it doesn't mean I can claim for a fact that he was taking bribes for people to meet his father. Somebody then wades in saying, what you're describing is a competent asshole. They exist in every industry, and you just have to learn to live with it. In Richard's case, I do that by ignoring his spoken word material and paying attention to the written work. I mostly agree with you. However, when you are a real journalist who, in the case of his esports works, cares deeply for verified truths, how can you then go into conspiracies as if they are factual, even if that is in your spare time as a streamer? It does, in my view at least, put a slight dent in your credibility. Somebody replies, can't think of a time he spread misinformation. And he said, sure, baby. Here is one where he claims that Hunter Biden was taking bribes so that people could have access to his father. And I'll quote Richard Lewis here, it was a pay-to-play scheme to gain access to his father, who was directly involved in political policy. I do genuinely believe that and think there's a raft of evidence to suggest it. I mean, that's it. If it wasn't for the general incuriosity of a partisan media, we'd be at the bottom of it by now. And obviously, Republicans are toothless and don't want to pull the trigger. The House Oversight Committee is little more than political theatre, and Republicans don't want to pull the trigger on this because the great unwritten rule is when you elect a political party in America, you are electing a criminal organization that just so happens, it's basically Crips and Bloods, but with briefcases and ties. That's what you're involved in. And what they want to do is essentially see how long they can get away with fucking you and breaking the law and enriching themselves until the other party gets a turn. That's it. That's what American politics is. That's what it's always going to be until people wake the fuck up and stop doing this lesser of two evils bullshit. But anyway, that's where I stand politically, I guess. But so whatever. So yes, do I think he engaged in a pay-to-play scheme? Of course I think that. Anyway, somebody links to the Oversight Committee and he goes, yeah, you are, because he got it wrong. Because he then tried to argue saying, this allegedly happened during Trump's presidency. Of course, it didn't happen during 2014. So claiming Joe Biden was directly involved in policy decisions that could benefit corrupt individuals in Ukraine is interesting, to say the least, given Joe Biden was in fact not involved in foreign policy at the time. And obviously, this guy links to him and goes, no, it's from his time as vice presidency, where he absolutely did have the control of the foreign policy enacted between the US and the Ukraine. And he went, oh, you're right, it did start before Trump. How the fuck can you get such a basic detail about what I said wrong and then still rabbit on for fucking millions and millions of fucking comments just saying that, because I believe something to be true, I'm engaging in a conspiracy theory? Anyway, he goes on and on. People just keep correcting him. He won't have it. If you look at the account, he posts in subreddits for Stop Me If This Surprises You. It was like David Pacman and Sam Cedar. David Pacman, who literally just wrote an article saying Joe Biden has built a strong economy. And then yesterday, CBS published an article saying the average American family has to pay $11,000 more per year than it did just 2 years prior. It's almost as if they're Democrat operatives and not actually serious political commentators, but whatever. Steele pops in and says he blocked me, which I thought was funny. What about today, dickhead? Beacon of light, apparently. Fair enough. What's he done to deserve it? Good question. And then JK Sex again with cringe. I just can't handle it. His brain's broke. This was a weird comment. Deserved, I guess, but he's kind of smurfing. Biggest amoeba in a puddle of shit type vibe. Still a piece of shit, to be honest. And then someone says, for what? Gaslighting us that there's no cheating issue. This is the new thing I'm hated for. To be honest, I don't know what the guy does. And that's the only thing I'd heard from him. But that really left a sour taste for me. Somebody said, you're just bad. You clearly don't play this game if you think there's no cheaters. Said no one ever. No one thinks there's no cheaters. I don't think there's no cheaters. Do you have any evidence to say that there's a cheating problem? No replies. Not a piece of shit from Schmick again. Just a man-child. Great to see a guy who literally gets into fist fights with people here disagrees with win this award. Don't know what he was going for there. What fist fight did he get into this year? Or ever. I mean, you can just say or ever. Someone complains about the production show. Did he choke someone backstage again? This is from someone called Riveter, obviously another long-standing hater. Somebody said, your mom. And he went, nice try, Richard. It's the old Richard Lewis burners again. How about you go and take more coke and pander to your new SJW audience you've slowly accumulated after choking people? Now, you might not know this, guys, but apparently the secret to having an SJW audience, which obviously, if you're new, you won't even know that. That stands for Social Justice Warrior. The secret to a social justice warrior audience is actually being ultra-violent and choking people. So that's what you have to do. And someone just replies with alt-right globo homo shill Ricardo Louise keeps racking up more and more buzzwords as title. Like, I don't know why people can't just correctly sort of identify where I stand on certain political issues. I certainly wouldn't be an SJW. I certainly wouldn't be alt-right. Yeah, I get called these things all the time now. I really don't know what that is. This comment, the guy deleted it, but he said, didn't even write any stories this year. And then somebody said CS2. And he replied with, he didn't break CS2. All he did was write that there were NVIDIA drivers called CS2, which, of course, that's a new lie that's being peddled by Richard Lewis haters, that I didn't break that story now. So, first it was, Richard Lewis is wrong, the story is false, I can't wait to see his downfall. Haha, Richard Lewis says on HLTV. Then I'm right, and then it's like, well, it doesn't even matter anyway, and he was sort of wrong about 128 tick. Then it became, it's not even a big story, anyone could have figured it out, all the clues were there. And then now it's just, he didn't even break the story. It's only been since March, and this is like the narrative twists and turns that we've been on. But no, I did break that story, and yes, I was right again. And yes, it was one of the biggest stories of the year. Sorry. Maybe I just don't have his content pushed to me, but what has he done in 2023? I'm like on the front page of Reddit every week, my guy. I don't know why. I constantly see Jake Lucky doing stuff as all over my timeline, but never Richard Lewis. I don't know. Do you maybe follow Jake Lucky? But anyways, there you go. Jake Lucky. And then someone said doing stuff, nothing of substance or value. In fact, some of it is actively harmful. And he replies, I disagree. Jake talks to a lot of people and reports what is happening in a bunch of esports, even some I don't know anything about. Nothing he has done is harmful. The hell you're talking about? Obviously, he's done loads of harmful stuff that we've talked about, which includes like diminishing revenge porn, even using like titillating thumbnails when covering stories of sexual assaults. He's practiced revenge journalism, made up a false story about Mo having like a Tinder profile and tried to break up his marriage. These are just three things that come to mind. That's before we get into the fact that loads of people out there have actively attacked him for being racist because he's tunneled in on certain black streamers and all the things they're doing. I don't think he's racist, by the way. I think he just does it for clicks. But obviously, you can make arguments about all of these things as being harmful if he is indeed a practicing journalist. And perhaps the most harmful thing of all that he does is he pretends not to be a journalist when it suits him, when it absolves him of responsibility, which, of course, you know, I'm so sick and tired of that game in esports, you know, like the old Travi Gafford special. Oh, I never said I was a journalist. Please, can I have a journalist pass for this event Riot Games? Please, like, if you want the kudos, you have to take responsibility. It's just that simple. But anyway, he goes on to say, I've yet to hear of a Jake Lucky controversy, and I don't know. He then goes, you seem like a huge hater. I don't know your reasoning, but you are on some real hater shit. Not everyone is trying to crack open the conspiracy of a video game like Richard Lewis, or is an asshole like Thorin. I hope you can let that hating syndrome go as you get older, young buck. Now, by the way, you're 18 years old, tops, if you think Jake Lucky is a newsman, but whatever. So then somebody said he did CS2, the EG Saga, the Hunden Files. What did he do for CS2? I mean, Valve released it this year, but wasn't the Hunden thing like 2 years ago?
Old dog shit.
And there we go. Go fuck yourself, you old dog shit. Thank you for the donation. So then somebody linked it to him, and did that. Somebody said, you compare Richard Lewis to Jake Sucky? Why are you a hater? Why? You are all player haters. Then there's this guy. This guy is seriously mentally ill. This one's one of my Dota haters. Every time I mentioned this account, 01, he does it on Twitter as well, he says that he will post, Richard Lewis beat up a kid at this event. And he's referring to Loader because he's from Dota.
Fuck yourself, you old dog shit.
And anyway, if you look at all the times he's done it, someone has replied and said, Loader was 27, Loader was 27, Loader was 27. And it's happened again. This kid was 27. And he just never replies to that, never engages with it, and then will turn up again and tell the same lie. If you want, you can go through his account. I mean, I don't know why you do this, but if you want to check it and see what I'm saying is true, you will find him saying this thing repeatedly and being corrected repeatedly, and he turns up to tell the same lie because he's mentally ill, like a lot of my haters are. Somebody then jumped in and they said he was 27 at the time, and when a report was filed, police stated there was no grounds for any claims of assault. Now, as I've said many times on Hell in a Cell, all the new guys know it, right? In Sweden, the law is this: if there's evidence of a crime, you must be arrested for it. That's how it works. And when the police turned up at the event, called by Loader and his girlfriend, while DreamHack took away my phone and locked me outside to defuse the situation, then let Loader and his girlfriend call the police without me knowing what was going on. The police came, interviewed me, interviewed all the witnesses who said Loader was the aggressor, he stuck his head in his face, and then Richard reacted. The police said, sounds like you acted in self-defense, there's no crime here, we're not going to arrest you, we're going to file this in the bin, was like essentially what they said, we're going to put this in the trash, and goodbye. And off they went. And so obviously, if there was any evidence I'd assaulted anyone, I would have been arrested. I wasn't arrested. I even closed out the show after it had happened. So that's just the truth. That's all verifiable information. You can go look it up. At no point was I in police custody. Kelly Milkes has lied publicly saying I'm banned from going to Sweden. She said that, and then I got hired to do PGL Stockholm and went to Sweden. So I don't know. I like, again, this collective like fervent nonsense about this incident is insane. But that's the truth. That's just the reality. All of it objectively provable by what happened, right? There's no arrest record anywhere, and, you know, because I was never arrested. I go to Sweden freely. There's no outstanding crimes. I don't get got at the airport because it was he had tried to attack me. I was bigger and stronger. He got sat down. Fuck around and find out. Welcome to the real world. But anyway, someone goes here. He didn't go to jail, therefore he is innocent. I guess Hitler, Stalin, Mao, etc. were all innocent as well. So I've now been compared to Hitler. This is always good when this happens. When Richard Lewis, esports journalist of the year, Richard Lewis, didn't get arrested for acting in self-defense, he is literally like Hitler. So it's good to know. And then goes, by the way, he was 15, not 27. And only reason he didn't get charged was because the kid didn't want to press charges at the time. Keep lying. And then somebody said, Loader is 35 now. Now, we're getting to the end of the hate, so we're going to put a pin in that, and we're going to look at Loader's Wikipedia profile. Anyway, this guy here says, he perma-bans me in his chat after I politely asked him to use Dark Reader because it was 2 a.m. in the morning and blurring my eyes when he's having some article open on the stream, just lapping along. Preposterous tool. Somebody said, who cares if he got banned? Like his takes in CS. Don't see him on any event. Don't follow any of his takes. Unfollowed him everywhere and life goes on. Who cares if he gets voted by esports awards? Literally meaningless, he said, while obsessively posting about me banning him because any Zoomer who comes in demands dark mode is instantly banned, right? Also, sounds like you need to get your eyes checked. My eyes aren't even that bad. Then somebody says, industry expert opinion is meaningless, I don't like him. And then there you go. Fat Autist, who reads Reddit comments for hours on stream. I have started doing that a lot. It's good content. Equals industry expert. I mean, still obviously am an industry expert and won that award and won tons of awards and a Lifetime Achievement Award and had a ton of jobs at the highest level on like television and everything else. But I mean, yeah, fat autist. Of course. Never said I don't like him, but but banning people for the pettiest shit is ridiculous. He could have said no or ignore me, but permaban me. If he thinks he could treat his follower base like this, then go on. No wonder he is banned from the CSGO scene and has to stream on his free time to read some articles. Gonna remember that if I call up PGL, I'm back in the game. And shout out to this guy who said, "You got bitch eyes." Damn, no self-aggrandizing, don't let those pesky game journos in our space speech this time. Honestly, though, this must feel worthless for him after a while. Like, this is the ceiling. He puts out barely any articles, reads Reddit comments on stream for hours on hours, and still has time to sink thousands of hours into Dota 2. And that is the kind of work ethic that warrants Journalist of the Year. Winning an award in a field as low talent as this must be so hollow. Oh, and his political coverage doesn't count. His political writing is so uninspired, it feels that I'm reading a college student with an unhealthy obsession with Greenwald Taibbi. Boring. Never mentioned it, either of those people, in any article I've written. And then somebody points something out about, blah, blah. And then he said, maybe if you weren't so eager to jump to his defense, you'd realize I was making a joke. As if that wasn't already obvious by the quotes. So I'm spelling it out for the cognitively impaired. Clearly I should have done more. Yeah, I mean, how dare I play video games in my spare time while being an esports journalist? Considering the CS community, you're like, he doesn't even play the game. He doesn't even play games. How dare he write about games? This guy. Yeah, fuck him actually for playing games. That's a pathetic work ethic to have any free time, any downtime whatsoever. Right, let's just quickly do this. Stop lying, said the guy who claimed Loader was 15 during Hell in a Cell. So let's just quickly have a look at Loader's page. There he is, right? Dressed almost exactly the way he was. And it says here he was born in 1988, age 35. Now, I know it feels like a long time ago, but DreamHack Hell in a Cell did not, and I promise you, it did not happen 20 years ago. It happened in 2015. Not 20 years ago, so he wasn't 15. He wasn't a teenager. He was, in fact, 27 years old. So that guy saying, stop lying, again, it's just all verifiable. You'd have to be seriously ill not to get it, not to understand it. There was another one because somebody decided to post. It didn't last long. I think it's gone off the front page already. It's been removed, of course. Because anything that makes me seem likable and relatable isn't allowed on the fucking subreddit. But somebody did post one of my old LAN walkthroughs on a Reddit thread. And it said here, as Richard Lewis wins yet another esports journalism award, let's look back at how it all started for him at cadred.org. For those who don't know, it was CSS Scene's equivalent, HLTV equivalent, run by him. Apart from coverage, they did tons of LAN walkthroughs. Congratulations, legend. Spot Young device at 4 minutes and 17. So this has now been removed. This is deemed to be not relevant. And it's obviously removed by a mod who doesn't like me because it sort of makes me look like, A, I've been around a while, B, I did like good work, C, I'm having fun in the video and seem like likable. So got to get rid of that, got to keep that up. Pansy's in the thread as well saying Richard's a great guy, been helping us out for ages. This is when I met him at I-46. So anyway, there was a couple of bangers in here. But this is the one I want to highlight. This is really holding on to vitriolic hatred to a degree I can't even fathom. He says that's not true. He started writing CSS content for Gotfrag. He had no idea what he was talking about, but he had no problem putting it out there. He did predictions for the first season of Open Playoffs and said that he had no idea about my team, number 8 seed, even though we regularly scrimmed the top teams. This disrespect for the next 2 seasons of Maine continued, where he predicted us to lose almost every week as we finished the 3rd season at 12-4. He started as a grifter who could write and turned into a real journalist. Now, I don't know. I was at I would have been at Gottfrag in 2007, and he's still wrong. So just to correct it, I was at Cadred before Gottfrag. What happened was I was at Source Junkie. Then Cadred was the big site. They headhunted me. I went there. Cadred became an official CGS partner. I was super leery about the CGS, so I went to Gottfrag, because Gottfrag were the ones that weren't cooperating with the CGS. I went there, got into a ton of beef with Cadred while I was there, including somebody at Cadred falsely accused me of plagiarism and had me removed from an award shortlist because I did an in-depth article about a story they broke. I don't know how in any world that could be considered plagiarism, but that's what happened. And then anyway, I left Gottfrag and went to Cadred in the post-CGS landscape, and obviously went to rise up through the ranks until I was running the website. So that's what actually happened. Now, in that time, I did do a lot of predictions. I was a caster back in the day. I used to do casting for ESEA. Henry G, obviously one of my partners back in the day, but I did casting with a variety of people. I had one of the first ever CSS podcasts. I used to do a podcast with a guy called Ripmax. I used to do a podcast with a guy called Vinny. We used to do this thing called the Weigh-In Show, which was before a big tournament. We would have players call in and trash talk each other and get drunk. We used to do all of this stuff. And one of the things I did used to do was I used to do the power rankings and predictions. And yeah, I used to say teams were shit. They were really blunt and brutal. And one of the first times I ever got seriously threatened was over that. One of the first times somebody, literally, there was a recording of them planning to kill me at an iSeries. It was because I'd predicted them a finish below their seed at a tournament. That was absolutely true. That's something that happened to me in this stupid, rotten business. So this is because this guy's going to be about 40 years old, and he's held onto this all this time and has posted this. Saying it's disrespectful and it's a grifter because I didn't predict his shit ESEA main team to win because he scrimmed against good teams once. I don't know, man. I hope you haven't got children because they're being neglected. Like having a fucking parent like you. So obviously that was all of the Reddit stuff, but as we know now, we don't just get talked about on Reddit. We get talked about on HLTV as well. Let me just bring up all of the HLTV threads. This was the RL versus Overdrive. People reacting to the video I put out, Maximum Overdrive. Can someone condense it down? I ain't watching 30 minutes of R. Lewis. TLDR, fuck Overdrive. A drama involving literal who's. The drama lords have been scraping the bottom of the barrel for some drama. It's not drama. It was just me reacting to things said about me. There's no drama. You can totally ignore it if you want. Some Twitter drama got the biggest virtual dick in the esports journalist insider sphere. It's definitely not about that. It's me. I have the biggest dick. Provable. GOAT status. Huge dick. No quarter. That guy who's always talking about me, again, always telling lies. This is the guy, remember, who said, in all his thumbnails, he's always wearing the same suit. Don't wear a suit in any of my thumbnails. Just, again, provably mentally ill. Considering how perpetually frustrated and angry RL is, I think we know the answer to that one. The answer to the question, who's got the biggest virtual dick? Is he implying I have a small PP now? Is that small virtual PP? I don't know. Anyway, TLDR, Richard Lewis is a man-child that will argue about anything just to stay relevant. And then someone points out he's just won Esports Journalist of the Year again. When the scene doesn't have enough drama to sustain them, they attack each other to stay relevant. I can't get more relevant by attacking Overdrive. He's got a tiny fraction of my audience and reach. And, I mean, in even a smaller fraction of my talent and ability. I don't know. Regardless, RL, even if you don't like him, has done some actual real shit. What has RL done that can be considered as relevant, actual real shit? Someone points it out, his reporting includes facts, sources, interviews, stuff behind the scenes. No hate, was just genuinely asking. All I remember from him is just being a complete dickhead. I don't know. Very good. Who is Richard Lewis? Richard Lewis is a child man. He's changed it up. I like it. Yes, the haters are in shambles. Two clowns. This is a good one. When Richard Lewis said that Mr. Beast is a very dislikable person, that was enough. Nothing good will come out from him. And that attention-seeking part, yeah, that's who RL is. Attention seeker. I have a good read on people. RL is a joke. Just unsub and let him make up some more delusional stuff. So Mr. Beast fan got triggered as fuck. Like, another comparison to Mao. We got dictators in here. Saying RL has at least done some actual shit is like saying Mao was okay because he did some actual shit. Yep, I have genocided the populace of the people I rule over in his fictitious scenario. This is great. His explanation as to why he is trigger happy to block people on Twitter just because they said something stupid is so funny. If everyone did that, then he would be blocked by everyone else, since there is probably at least one take of his they would disagree with or find stupid. Yeah, so block me then, you silly cunt. That's the point. Yeah, definitely block me. Definitely block me and don't interact with me if you think I've ever said anything stupid. Definitely. There's no reason. I'm stupid, right? Just ignore me. Yeah, perfect. Love that arrangement. Facts. And like he said, he hates stupid people and why it's so hard for them to stop for a second and think before they speak. And then he instantly proceeds to say very stupid stuff himself. Definitely didn't. But if you think so, definitely block me. So we had that one. Then after the award went in, I think Simple was streaming. So what happened here was a Simple fan made an HLTV thread. This is just called Richard L. This so-called most accurate journalist, remember 100% accuracy record over like an 18-year career, claimed that Simple is going to switch to Valorant. Never claimed that. A week later, while playing CS2 on his stream, Simple clearly stated that he will never switch to Valorant. However, RL has never been called out for this, since his words are just so irrelevant. Now, I've never made that claim, and I also do just want to remind all the Simple fans. Simple said days before CS2 was released, CS2 isn't real, and the people talking about it are just doing it for clout. That's what he said. So, you know, kind of not the greatest track record with this stuff. But anyway, he goes, anyway, it's funny to watch him throwing tantrums like an angry kid and insulting people who have a life unlike him, and it's just sad he isn't smart or old enough to formulate actual arguments towards whoever he tries to criticize. He's a loser, goes straight to insulting people he can't argue against. I'm yet to meet the intellectual titan from HLTV that can fucking argue against me. This is a great one. I know too much about things he have said to some people involved in esports, and I've seen how he have acted on after party once. So no, he don't deserve respect. How was he acting? I hate racist people. People who act like they are better than others, and I know everything people, so just imagine, right? So this is clearly a Brazilian fan. No one else has ever accused me of being racist except people from Brazil, because I'm not racist and there's no evidence ever to say I'm racist. So you can just make... So I don't know what after party I would be at with like some random Brazilian dude, but there you go. A very real story that definitely happened. He's the best journalist we have. He could get a prize for that, and you could get a prize for the lowest bar set. Yeah. Somebody just said proof. I don't know. RL doing journalism, fairly reliable, 100% record, of course, and reasonable person. RL, when talking about the same things on stream or in videos, vindictive person with vendettas. His Twitter is a fucking clown show. My Twitter is literally just me posting my work, but it's fine. Somebody said, do you have the quote of him saying it? Didn't reply. Did he make this claim? It's one of his predictions he made. It's not... Right, so context on what I actually did say. I said, if I was a betting man, given how Simple has vocally said he doesn't like CS2, I don't know if he's going to return to Na'Vi. He wants to change roles, and he could make a fortune in Valorant and plays Valorant for fun. I think it's about 50-50 he might switch to Valorant. That's what I actually said. So I didn't say he was definitely switching. It wasn't even a prediction. It's a 50-50 speculation. Anyway, when that thread got 404'd, he then made another thread where he just fabricated a quote. He just made up a quote whole cloth that I never said. Richard L. Come. And then, in quotes, I'm confident that Simple is ready to leave the realm of Counter-Strike and join the Valorant community. Many of my contacts indicate that Simple is experiencing burnout. He needs a break, and he's developed an aversion to CS2. This is not a quote of mine. This is like, I have not said this. Like, that isn't a quote. A week later, Simple on his stream, moving to Valorant. No, I don't think about it at all, and I never had such thoughts. It's BS. I prefer CS. Meanwhile, Richard Loser fans, he's upgraded the L. But it's just his opinion, even though we shared it as a certified rumor. I didn't. Overdrive cannot post any rumors. Only my idol, Richard Clownis, can. He is such a clown. I saw a clip of him reviewing my negative comments about him. He is so important, he has time to review the comments of kids. His chat was full of people exactly like that. This guy is obsessed with you, etc. Cap kind of fucking fits, homie. I don't know. You're still talking about me. Richard Lewis is a dumb fuck. The fact that, like, once in a year he makes one good article about something doesn't make him an actual expert whose opinion means a lot to the community. And then there was another thread. This is a good one. Richard Lewis, explain how he deserves the title of honorary esports journalist. Now, I don't have that title, and no one has given me that title. I'm not an honorary esports journalist. I'm a journalist that writes about esports. So if indeed he deserved it without taking into account information from Wikipedia, right? Somebody says he's the best. I've been seeing him in the news for about 3 years now, but I don't really know his biography. It's not even written on Wikipedia. Then he says, what do you mean by honorary? He is an esports journalist. And then he links to the tweet of me winning the award, and then I know, I guess we just skip past that. And someone says, well, who do you think deserved it? And he said, I don't know. Apart from the journalists of HLTV and Dust2.us, I don't know who would do journalist job conscientiously. And then here we go again. He broke the story about CS2. He just copied data miners who tweeted it for weeks. Didn't. And then this one. Shout out to Dane6400. Hi, Lewis. I know you'll be reading this thread. Congrats on your award, but you should hit the gym. As I said in my article today, thanking everyone for their support, I'm going to stay deliberately overweight so the Saudis can't fit me in a suitcase. Anyway, that was the reaction to me winning an award. It just seems, again, like, I don't know, like, guys, I'm going to be irrelevant anytime soon. Like, it's definitely, like, for real this time. 2024, year of irrelevancy. 100%, definitely coming. I'm going to be irrelevant, for sure, for real. The man-child is going to go away. It's 100%. You're going to stop thinking about me. It's definitely going to happen, for real, for real, for real, for real.